So welcome everyone. It's a pretty special occasion. We're all back in person. All for some still virtually. So why don't we go around the room and actually before then I'll do that. So is accessible to people with disabilities. Microphones or telephones will be used by all speakers. If you'd like these accommodations, please contact Mary Waldron at 508-583-1833 extension 202. The Notice of Non-Discrimination Rights and Protections to Beneficiaries with regard to the federal Title VI non-discrimination protections and the state non-discrimination protections is included on this meeting's agenda. It is available on the Old Colony Planning Council website at www.ocpcrpa.org. Please contact Mary Waldron at 508-583-1833 extension 202 for more information. Thank you. All right. So now that we've read that, why don't we go around the room first and then introduce yourselves, and then we'll call in folks that are virtual. I'm Steve Wolfel, representing Acting Secretary and CEO of MassDOT, Jimmy Tesler.
Pamela Hasner, representing Jonathan Gulliver.
Wow. Right there, Charlie. Rewind.
Jonathan Gulliver, Mass DOT Highway Administrator.
Actually, you should just record on your phone to show Jonathan and then erase it otherwise.
And I am Meredith Anderson. I'm from the town of West Bridgewater.
Mary Waldron, representing Christine Joy, President of OCPC.
Yeah, and Dan Subwoochie, Vice Chair, Board of Selectmen, Town of Whitman.
Len Ann Geiler, I'm representing Michael Lambert, Vice Chair this morning.
Lee Hartman, Town of Plymouth, representing Vicki Quintal, Chairman of the Select Board.
I'm Abby Labs. I'm that summer intern.
And then do we want to go?
Charlie?
I'm Charles Kilmer at the Old Colony Planning Council. Next up, we have Bill McNulty.
Bill McNulty, Old Colony Planning Council.
Kyle Mowat from OCPC.
Kyle Mowat, Old Colony Planning Council.
Next up is Sean.
Sean Bailey, Old Colony Planning Council.
Ray Garino.
Ray Garino, Principal Transportation Planner, Old Colony Planning Council.
Ho Chang.
Go Charlie, OCPC.
Al DiGirolamo, Senator Brady's office.
I'm Al DiGirolamo. I'm representing Senator Brady. And it's nice to be here today. It's a lot of laughter is good. It's contagious. Thank you.
Andrew from Federal Highway.
I'm Andrew Riovan, Federal Highway Massachusetts Division.
Ben Muller, MassDOT.
Ben Muller, MassDOT Planning.
Rob Cahoon, VHB.
Rob Cahoon from VHB, just listening in.
Josh Epps. Leah Filson. Mary Ellen DeFries. Mike Lambert.
Good morning, and thank you to all the signatories for making this possible.
And if we missed anybody on the call-in, would you please introduce yourselves at this time? Okay, thank you.
All right. Again, as I said before, welcome everyone. We'll move on to agenda item 2, which is public comments. Are there any members of the public who would like to address the MPO today? All right, seeing none, why don't we move to agenda item 3, minutes of the May 18th, 2021 Old Colony meeting. Could I get a motion to approve in a second?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Wow.
Well, it's usually a contract.
Oh, sorry.
No, I know.
Oh, geez, what if I?
No, these two don't behave themselves. Don't force me to call on you. All right, any comments or changes on the minutes? All right.
Good girl.
Seeing none, Mary, do we just do the usual, or do we do the roll?
Do the roll.
Do the roll. Who's going to do the roll, Charlie? Or?
Oh, wait a minute. I don't think we need to. I'm sorry. Strike that.
Yeah, in person,
Charlie?
it's just a voice vote.
All right, so we're just going to do.
Thank you.
Aye.
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 Any opposed to the minutes or any abstentions? All right, just say, I want the minutes to note that I did that under duress because I was. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so the next agenda item is agenda item 4, the Brockton Area Transit Report.
I know Michael's on the call, but he asked me to give our report this morning. We wanted to announce, that will be, part of the mayor's downtown rapid recovery initiative. We'll be offering free fares each weekend, on board, our buses and also Dial-A-Bat. I believe the bus starts on Saturday. For more information, we'll be posting more information on our Facebook page and our website. We have new shelters that have recently arrived, and that was part of our, Winter Shared Streets Grant initiative. Also, we wanted to just reiterate that our commuter rail fare initiative program is going to continue until September 15th. For more information, they can contact us directly, or also the MBTA has a website specifically regarding the Brockton Commuter Rail Fare Initiative Program.
All right, any questions? All right, thank you. Next agenda item is agenda item 5, which is the tip placeholder. Charlie, I do not believe we have any tip actions today, correct?
That is correct.
All right, so why don't we move on to agenda item 6, the federal fiscal year 2021 Old Colony Unified Planning Work Program Budget Reallocation 1. Charlie, go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. So from time to time, a budget reallocation to the UPWP task amount is required. So we tend to wait between 6 months in to 9 months in on the UPWP implementation. So what we have for the board's consideration today is an adjustment to several tasks. I note that all of the changes are below the 10% threshold that would require an amendment. So these are technically an adjustment. And we have a menu of the changes on your screen. It's 3 pages. So the first is in element 1000. We propose to increase the task 1100 by $5,000, and the funding to do that would become from a reduction in task 1400. In element 2000, we have 4 changes in the demographic surveillance. We're looking to reduce that by $5,000. Task 2200, we're looking to increase that by 5,000. The GIS, we're looking to increase that by 5,000, and then reduce the management systems task 2500 travel demand modeling by 5,000. And as previously mentioned, we have in this column, the second column from the right is the percent change in that task as a representative of the overall subtask budget. So as an example, the management systems decrease is 2% of the overall task budget of $305,831. Element 3000, we have a reduction in task 3100 by $5,000, an increase in task 3300 by $5,000, a decrease in task 3400 by $5,000, and then finally a decrease in the climate change study, by $5,000. And I note all of these are be under the $10,000 10% threshold, and no change here. So that's a quick menu of the changes. Not substantial changes, but a rebalancing of allocated funding amounts to bring us to the close of the federal fiscal year. So now we entertain any questions, and I note that this is an action item of the MPO.
All right, before I take any questions, can I get a motion and second to approve the budget reallocation to the 2021 UPWP?
I'll second that.
All right,
Oh, it's a bloodbath. I'm in.
might have to separate these two. All right, any questions for Charlie? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, so we're going to move on to agenda item 7, which is the draft federal fiscal year 2022 Unified Planning Work Program, and this is for endorsement. Charlie, go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. So you as the MPO released the draft 2022 Unified Planning Work Program to a public review and comment period, and we're here today to provide the results of that comment period. And we have a matrix of comments received, and also the specific comment letters attached. So the first received was an email from Richard Jordan, who reviewed and provided comments, and in summary, he had asked what were the priorities of the Old Colony Planning Council. He noted the importance of widening of Route 24. He noted the importance of providing bicycle and pedestrian enhancements on Route 28 in Avon. And he noted in his email comment that the UPWP itself would benefit from the inclusion of substantial metadata. So I replied to Mr. Jordan, provide him links to the OCPC Regional Policy Plan, the Old Colony MPO Long Range Transportation Plan, which is a 20-year look forward needs assessment of priorities of the MPO. I included our recent bicycle and pedestrian connectivity study, Route 28 corridor study in Avon. And last but not least, I provided him with a link to the OCPC traffic volumes report, which includes thousands of data points of metadata for traffic volumes. And I also provided the link to the mass.ms2 website portal that provides traffic counts and turning movement counts across the Commonwealth. So, a lot of data in that. Comment number 2 was from the OCPC Board of Directors. We presented the draft UPWP at their May meeting. They reviewed the plan and approved it. We received a comment from Director of Planning and Economic Development for the City of Brockton, Rob May, and he noted in the Freight Movement and Economic Vitality Goal section that we had a reference to exploring intermodal freight opportunities at the current CSX site in Brockton. And Rob noted that the city has other plans for that site. It's a mixed-use development. And Rob recommended removing the reference to exploring and implementing multimodal freight. We presented the draft UPWP to the Old Colony Joint Transportation Committee at their June meeting. They reviewed it and approved it. And rounding out the comments, Andrew Riabon from Federal Highway reviewed and provided comments and suggestions. I would say Andrew's comments were 3 to 4-fold. One was to provide specificity as to the schedule of certain tasks. We had noted that on some of them, for like the 3C program, it said to be conducted throughout the year. And Andrew recommended providing specificity as to which federal fiscal year that would occur. So we will change or update the text to reflect that it is indeed in FFY 2022. Andrew also provided a comment to perhaps include in the staff listing on which specific tasks that the particular staff members would be working on as it relates to the UPWP, so we can provide that list. Andrew also suggested or inquired about task 4100, the transit technical assistance, as to whom would actually be conducting the tasks. Would it be a consultant? Would it be BAT itself? Would it be GATRA itself? And our response to this, and we'll provide clarifying documentation in the UPWP, it will actually be OCPC staff conducting said technical assistance. And then Andrew also provided a comment to the high priority quarter screening process task. We had perhaps a little overzealous and provided a lot of excruciating detail on scoring matrix and criteria on how to rate different things within the UPWP itself. So upon reflection, we agree with Andrew that perhaps that much detail might be better reside within the actual study itself and not the UPWP. We'll just provide more of the high level context in the UPWP and include the results also perhaps in the transportation improvement program. But I think from a staff's assessment, we navigated the public comment period successfully, and I think the comments received will help only make a better endorsed UPWP, so staff will work to address the comments. Note, here's a actual email from Richard Jordan. So I'll leave that on the screen for a sec so people can see that. And then we have the summary of comments from Andrew from Federal Highway. And this is a scroll through the comments. So these comments are very helpful as we prepare the final version of the endorsed document. So we'll work through and address these comments in the final version. That concludes the staff report. We're open to questions, and I do remind the MPO that this is an action item.
All right, thanks, Charlie. Can I get a motion and a second to approve the 2022 UPWP?
Second.
All right, any questions for Charlie? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you, Charlie. So we're going to move on to agenda item 8, the draft Old Colony Public Participation Plan. I believe this is Ray.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Charlie's going to share his screen and put up a quick PowerPoint presentation.
Everybody see the presentation?
Okay. Next slide, please. Okay, our 2021 Public Participation Plan update documents the guidelines for our MPO's public outreach. It establishes a process to engage the public involvement in our MPO activities and our transportation decision making. And we're looking to have a proactive, inclusive, and accessible process. We want to ensure early, continuous, and meaningful opportunities for the public to have input, especially those who have been traditionally underrepresented and those underserved populations. So this version of our public participation plan updates our previous 2017 MPO public participation plan. Next screen, please. So our update is based on guidelines provided by Mass DOT as well as federal guidelines. We have refined it over the years based on changes in technology and changes in communication, as well as public feedback. We do review and update the public participation plan every 5 years. And it also requires a 45-day comment period for plan updates. Next, please. So some of the products that are covered under our public participation plan include UPWP, and any road safety audits, local transportation assistance or traffic studies, corridor studies and regional studies, our long-range transportation plan, as well as our transportation improvement program. And in addition, the process that we adopt by the MPO includes a TIP, and that satisfies the public hearing requirement for the program of projects for Section 5307 for Brockton area transit. Next, please. So our plan goals, we have a number of plan goals real quickly. We want to obtain quality input and participation to encourage useful, relevant, and constructive comments. We want to establish consistent commitment, and that means communicating regularly with communities and people in the communities. We want to increase diversity, so engage a range of different perspectives, different cultural perspectives, different groups. We want to provide relevance. Well, I think I skipped one. Ensure accessibility. That participation opportunities are accessible. We want to make sure that We have accessible means for people to participate. We want to frame the issues clearly so that they're understood by the most people. We want to foster participant satisfaction. So people who take the time to participate, we want them to feel as though their effort is worth it to join the discussion. We want to clearly define for the public that how they can communicate and how they can have influence. We want to establish and maintain partnerships, so it's important for us to maintain partnerships in the community. And last, we want to provide opportunities for consensus. So it's important that consensus is important for public action. So we want to do our best to get consensus on the decision-making process. Next, please. These are some of the ways that we have communicated with the public. We have our Old Colony website, MPO section, and we are going to update our website. We have a new logo, and we're going to give it a new look soon. We also have been very successful with our e-newsletter through email. So we have some of the staff like Maddie Curtis and Joanne Zygmunt has been doing a great job with our newsletter, and everybody has participated in contributing to our newsletter. We continue with public media, the traditional media, newspapers, radio stations, and that includes English and non-English. We also do social media, Twitter and Facebook. I think Bill has been leading us on that in the past. Posters, displays, boards, brochures, fact sheets, we still use those. And then we're trying to get out into the community with public meetings, public hearings, and open houses. We're active in different advisory groups and clubs, and such as the Downtown Association. And we're also at public events. We try to put stands at public events and with the Chamber of Commerce and minority business groups. Next, please. So our 2021 plan update has three basic things that are different than the previous. We had to do remote meetings and accessibility because of the coronavirus pandemic. We have also established measures of effectiveness. And the third is the establishment of the OCPC Reflection, Opportunity, and Action Task Force. And that includes all of OCPC, not just the MPO. Next, please. This one got a little bit distorted, but during the coronavirus emergency, our public meetings were held remotely, and we had to take measures to ensure safety and accessibility to the public. But we also, and we still had to include the public comment section for the MPO and the JTC meetings. Next, please. Okay, so as I said, we developed some measures of effectiveness, and those include meeting attendance, the number of or estimated number of LEP Title VI protected class encounters, number of documents translated into the 4 LEP Safe Harbor Clause languages, number of direct engagements with outside organizations, and number of correspondence, including the number of instances individuals responded through different ways, like social media, surveys, questionnaires, etc. Next, please. What we've done is put out a measures of effectiveness yearly report. So a lot of the information on our measure of effectiveness can be shown in there. Next, please. This is just some examples. For example, the graph on the bottom shows the effectiveness of our OCPC newsletter, how many newsletters we sent out, and how many were opened and read read by the person who received the newsletter. Next, please. So our last thing is our OCPC Reflection, Opportunity, and Action Task Force. And we established this task force to embrace diversity, equity, and inclusion as organizational values. And our goals are to continuously review our public participation methods. So we want to make sure that we reach populations that have been traditionally underserved. We want to be proactive in building our stakeholder community, so identify those diverse organizations and people and engage them in decision making. We want to develop opportunities that focus on inclusion and provide a platform for underrepresented communities to be heard in OCPC's work. We want to foster participation internally so that staff feel empowered to share ideas, concerns, and thoughts. And we want to create opportunities around the themes of inclusive public participation, community empowerment, and cultural competency. Last, please. And that's, in as brief as possible, an overview of our public participation plan. If anyone has any questions or comments, I'll be happy to try to answer.
All right, anyone have any questions for Ray?
Ray, that seems like a very comprehensive and thoughtful plan. A lot of effort went into that.
Thank you.
Others? All right, can I get a motion second to release for public comment?
So moved?
Ooh, second.
All right, whoever's doing the minutes, figure that out. All right, any further questions for Ray? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, thank you, Ray.
You're welcome.
We're going to move on to agenda item 9, which is the road safety audits at multiple locations status report. That's Bill. Go ahead, Bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So just to give you a brief update on where we are with this program. So, we're about 2/3 of the way through our program year. And this program is in good shape. We're right about where we would hope to be. The first 1/3 of this program year, was just identifying locations and community outreach. And then the last few months, we've actually been going out and starting to do the audits, and that'll continue through the coming months. And you can see in your staff report the locations that we've done road safety audits to date. So to date, we've done 8 locations, in the towns of Abington, Easton, Hanover, Kingston, and Plymouth. And then we have some locations identified moving forward, and they'll bring us, to a total of about 15, maybe a little bit more locations by the end of this program year. And then we'll continue it, as you noticed in the Unified Planning Work Program, we'll continue it into next federal fiscal year as well. It's been a very successful program. We're very appreciative of all the participation that we've gotten, particularly from our legislative delegation. I know the Easton location, House Majority Leader Clay Cronin joined us. Last week in Hanover, Senator Mike Brady joined us. And actually, each of these road safety audits, we've had a representative either from the local state representative in that district or the state senator in that district, or at least a representative from their office. So, we're very appreciative of that. The communities themselves, the elected officials and public safety, they've been very involved, as well as MassDOT, both Boston and District 5, both in the actual participation in the audits themselves and lending their technical expertise to these products. So it's been a very collaborative process. It's been successful, and we're we're happy where we're at, and look forward to a successful first run of this program, and it's a good model going forward and repeating it next year as well. So that's just where we're, that's an update of where we're at. I'm happy to answer any questions anyone has.
All right, does anyone have any questions for Bill? Go ahead.
Not a question, but just a comment. I've been able to participate in many of the RSAs. The staff has done an incredible job to capture the needs and the questions and being responsive. Bill has been leading that effort, but it's also the team behind where we have someone like Sean who has a dash cam, and bringing in that visual on a Zoom meeting really gives those that participating the almost like really on-site experience. And I'm very proud of the transportation staff, but particularly the efforts that these are the really important pieces of safety in our communities, and as whether it's Whitman or Plymouth or whatever they have been brought forward, but it's a great dialogue, and just appreciate the staff time.
Right.
Thank you,
We
Mary.
all agree on that, so.
I'm excited to see West Bridgewater, see them on here, to see both of those
Yeah.
sites looked at. That's very neat, very much needed and appreciated.
All right, thank you, Bill.
Excellent, thank you.
All right, we'll move on to agenda item 10, which is administrative matters, other business, date and time of next meeting. Charlie, got any administrative matters?
We do have a note on the race grants. Applications are due July 12th. And on your screen now is dates of the upcoming MPO meetings. First would be August 17th at 10 o'clock, and the second will be September 21st. We propose taking July off, if that's okay with the MPO.
Everyone fine with that? I assume we're coming back in August, Charlie, to do the public participation plan?
Yes.
Okay. All right, anyone else have any other administrative business?
No, just a comment in terms of, there are these, we have a new logo at Old Colony Planning Council. It does incorporate transportation of various modes, whether it's buses or bicycles or pedestrians, but it also talks about sustainability and how they all intertwine. And it's been a several-month project, but it represents of what the discussions were about today, safety as well as participation, along with the ROA task force in terms of us really digging into the equity issue as an organization. We take it seriously, and we'll continue to keep improving ourselves along the way.
If I may?
Yeah, go ahead.
On the 29th of this month, I have a meeting in Boston, MBTA Advisory Board, and we'll be doing the budget. And if there is any handouts and information that we receive, I will get a second copy and deliver it here, which I usually do. That way you're informed.
So the only administrative matter I have is that we're planning on moving together in person this year. It's gonna be pretty late. It's gonna be November 22nd. We still have to figure out how we're gonna do it. If we're gonna have the thousands of people that usually come to that meeting or not. And one thing I wanna do with our team is try to capture all the kind of, we had national and international speakers at the last two conferences put together. Innovation Conference had, folks from all over the country, and so did Moving Together in the fall. So we gotta figure out how to blend both of those things. So it's gonna be later. We wanted to give enough time for Labor Day and all that. And, but yeah, Park Plaza, it's not, registration is no PM, just kind of putting on people's radar screens, how things can change and things like that, but we're trudging ahead and seeing if we can pull it off, so. And if anyone registered for the Innovation Conference and didn't make it, or wanted to see other sessions, you can still go on the link. You should have got an email yesterday from UMass that allows you to go on until Thursday to see the sessions. You just use the same credentials. So if you didn't, missed a couple of sessions you wanted to see, please do it soon because it's going to go away for good.
It was a great session. I was able to participate on a couple of them, but I highly recommend the members to in fact get on, and I'm going to go to the others that I had not been able to see. Thank you.
Yeah, it was cool. We had two other secretaries, so if you didn't see that, you can check those out. All right. With that, we're on the last agenda item, adjournment. Can I get a motion and a second to adjourn?
Second.
Second.
All right.
Have to mix it up a little.
All in favor of adjourning before this actually devolves?
Bloodbath.
Opposed, any abstentions? All right, thank you,